Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Baseplate 12, or Mitch as you guys know me. This video is going to be about the Grand Prismatic Spring in Yellowstone National Park. This video is basically going to show you some tips on having the best experience you can at the Grand Prismatic Spring. I'm going to show you how to get there and just some tips on making your visit to the spring the best as it can be. So let's get to it. Tip number one, I would say definitely try to get there at the beginning of your day. We tried to get there one day around lunchtime and the traffic around there was just so crazy. It was tough to get into the parking lot. The parking lot does not have a lot of spots, so that's why I would suggest getting there very early in the morning. You can try to get there later in the day, but the lighting might not be so great. So in the morning, it was situated just perfectly so that you can see the springs and all the beautiful colors that it has to offer. So my first tip, try to get there early in the morning. So let's go ahead and hit up the map so I can show you how to get there from the west entrance. Okay, here's a map of Yellowstone Park. We always came in the western side. So it'll be 14 miles from the west entrance to the Madison Junction. When you hit the Madison Junction, make a right towards Old Faithful, and the Grand Prismatic Spring is basically between that Madison Junction and Old Faithful. So you'll just be looking for the signs to tell you where to park into that Grand Prismatic Spring. So let me go ahead and go to the video of what it'll look like when you're parking in the Grand Prismatic Spring parking lot. Okay, so here we are on the road, about ready to turn right into the Grand Prismatic Spring parking lot. There'll be a turn lane just for those of you that want to turn into that parking lot. You can see the steam from the geyser over there on the left. There's going to be a 2-lane road that you enter in. And as you can see, as we enter into the parking lot, we were there pretty early in the morning and still there was a good amount of traffic. The good news about many of these parking lots is if you're just patient, there's always people coming and going. So if you just wait and you're not overly impatient, you'll always be able to find a spot. If you let people just go around you, there's always people coming and going. And that's one thing I noticed is that you can't get overly impatient. You just wait and then people will leave and you can get your spot. And here are some pictures and video that I took while at the Grand Prismatic Spring. Definitely, I'm going to urge you to go to the Grand Prismatic Spring, but I would say you have to visit the lookout. You can enjoy and get some great shots and video if you go to the Grand Prismatic Spring, but I would say that you're missing a ton of what you can really see unless you go to the lookout. The lookout's going to let you see above the Grand Prismatic Spring, where as you're there, you really can't see a whole lot just because you can't get that bird's eye view. So step number 2, definitely if you're going to go to the Grand Prismatic Spring, definitely go to the lookout. And I'm going to show you how to get there. Okay, so we just left the Grand Prismatic Spring parking lot. It's not going to be very far. It's probably under a mile to get to the Ferry Falls parking lot. You'll be driving south like you would be going to Old Faithful, but we're obviously going to turn right into the Falls parking lot. You're going to just have to watch your time. If you're getting here past 9 o'clock in the morning, you're probably not going to find a whole lot of parking in the regular parking. So as we make this turn here, you're going to see how you have an option to go straight ahead. I hesitated and thought, ooh, should I go to the left? There's not many parking spaces if you go straight. Very, very little. You can see people have even parked off to the side here just because there's very little spaces available in this parking lot. So what you're going to probably end up having to do is do like we did, is turn off to the side, and there's a whole lot of just dirt parking, which is fine because it's just a little bit farther past this parking lot right here. So once you park, the trail I'm going to show you in a second is not that long. I thought it was longer than it really was, but it wasn't that long. So I took some time lapse with my GoPro of the trip it took from the parking lot to the lookout. So check this out. Okay, so this is the time lapse that I took on my GoPro going on the Grand Prismatic Overlook Trail. It took, on my phone, it said I took 1,781 steps. So if the average person takes 2,000 steps for a mile, this is somewhere in the 0.6 to 0.7 miles one way. The trail is really flat until you get towards the end. If you go to the right, it's going to be the Ferry Falls Trail. If you're going to the Grand Prismatic Overlook, you're going to hang a left where you get to the fork, and you'll start to head up the hill. As you're going to see in a second, the hill does get a little bit steep towards the end, and you're going to see that we had to take a break because it does get pretty steep. And there we go, we took a break, but just a short break, and then we just continued on. So it was not that bad. If you're in relatively good shape, you should make it there fine. And then you can just imagine when you get to the top the view you get. So here we go. And step number 3, if the sunlight is just not that well as you get to the lookout, give it some more time. When we went and visited the lookout, it was kind of cloudy and it was kind of patchy with clouds. I'll show you the difference in the pictures that I took with it cloudy and with the sun came out. So it's just a matter of having patience and just waiting out the sun, because when the sun hits the spring, you can see all those colors. When it's cloudy or if the sun's behind the clouds, you're going to miss a lot of those colors. So I would say be patient and wait for the sun to pop out if you feel like it's going to do that and it's not going to prevent you from seeing other things. Okay guys, so there you go, the Grand Prismatic Overlook Trail. If you're gonna go see the Grand Prismatic Spring, please take time to go to the Overlook Trail. It's just one of those things where you have to be able to enjoy and appreciate it looking from above. The view, you can't match that view. You go to the gift shops, you're gonna see just a million pictures of this just because it's so awesome as far as the colors and everything. So hopefully you enjoy your stay at Yellowstone Park and definitely enjoy your visit to the Grand Prismatic Spring. Okay guys, I am Baseplate 12, or Mitch as you guys know me. Thanks for watching.